hear me, it would be great if someone can let me know in the back channel or in the chat here in YouTube if I'm being listened properly. Well, I hope it is. Now, let me just start with this workshop then. Well, this is a modest, but I think game-changing contribution to collaborative live coding, collaborative network-like coding, for a couple of reasons. But one thing that I feel that it is important to mention here is that there's not much going on in terms of computational power added to Estuary by this. This is not a new language, or this is not a new feature that will make your visuals or your audio much more interesting, but it is a communication tool between the humans participating in your ensemble, and I think that is very relevant, and can be very useful, no? So what are the time visualizers? There are 3 of them in Estuary, and they can be invoked in the following way. The easiest way to do that is to go to the view editor, and in one of the editors, let's start with a good old-fashioned stopwatch. So stopwatch is invoked with the function stopwatch, and you have to provide it a zone index. I will just provide that one. So this is very easy to see. If you hover over these numbers, sort of this count of seconds, you will see a little message that appears over here that says start. No? So what you can do with this is to start a stopwatch. So just click on it, and yeah, there you go. You have a stopwatch. This might be just useful to keep track of how much time have you been performing. It will allow you to see the time that you have been performing in seconds and in minutes. As you can see, if I hover now, this message has changed to stop. No? As any stopwatch, one of the important functions of it is to stop it. So, okay, let's stop it. It is stopped. And the message now has changed to clear. So this message shows what is the state of the stopwatch. If we clear it, we will lose this count. Let's go back to 0. And yeah, there we go. Then we can start again another cycle, count again our performance. I think this is the most simple of the time visualizers that are available in Estuary now, and it can provide some interesting ideas to manage your performance. I can think of, like, for example, in Mexico City, it used to be a thing that we used to have these from scratch sessions in which you were able to play only 9 minutes. So you can keep track of that here. When you reach the 9-minute mark, then you stop, right? But yeah, I don't think this is the most interesting feature that has been enabled in Estuary so far. So let's explore something else. Jumping a little bit from managing your performance to visualizing the tempo in Estuary. Now, what you're seeing here is Estuary's tempo. Okay? Each time that we reach this line above, we are in the start of a new cycle, and by default, this count of the cycle has 4 segments. Because the 4/4 measure is an important one, or it's a common one. That's why we are doing that. But you can change how you're segmenting your cycle. As you can see, if you hover above this, you get indications of what happens if you click in that area of the widget. So let's have less subdivisions of the cycle. Let's just go to 1. Notice how in this corner right here, there's like a count of subdivisions that appear. So now we have 2, 3, and they're transient, they just disappear after I think 0.2 seconds. So this line represents the start of a cycle. I think this is a very useful representation of how to understand. If you're trying to show pedagogically how, for example, mini tidal works, I think this is a great tool to do that. We can show people where their samples are playing. I hope you can hear that BD. I cannot monitor myself right now, but yeah, I hope it's there. You can add, well, you can have 0 subdivisions. No, so this is just a way of keeping track of the cycles without determining where is the start of the cycle, where the new cycle starts, which is okay. And you can have up to, let's see, I mean 8 is an important one, I guess. 16 starts to be, starts to be a little bit glitchy, but you can still see it. Let's see how many subdivisions we can get. I mean, I know, no, but I just want to show you. We can get up to 32 subdivisions. If I go one more further, I go to 0. I cycle again to 0. So, I guess having 32 subdivisions with a tempo like this is not very useful, but I can see it being useful if we have a slower tempo. Perhaps that one. Yeah, by the way, if you change the tempo, the visualization will adapt accordingly. We'll go back to where I was. And let's go back to 4 subdivisions. Now, to the left, you can see the previous meter visualizer, and to the right, you can see the next meter visualizer. Let's see the next one. This is conceptually similar to this one, as in both of them are circles. They represent time in a circular manner, which I think it's a very common way of imagining time in contexts like using tidal cycles. But as you can see real time also in this one. Like this line rotating around its axis allows us to see where exactly we are in the subdivision and in the cycle. This one does not allow us to see exactly where we are. We can only see in which segment of the subdivision we are. And it doesn't start, like the start of the cycle is not up, but it is to the left. That was an arbitrary decision I made. I hope it works for people. I was looking for as many varied manners of representing time as possible, and I thought that this was going to be good. So yeah, this is one, this is another. Perhaps you are more of a metric person that wants to represent time in a sequence, in a horizontal sequence from left to right. And this is this one. As you can see, we can see real time also, but also we can see where, in which segment of our cycle we are. Left is the start, and this is the last segment of the cycle. This one is sort of the same, but we don't see where exactly we are, but we see in which segment we are. And notice how this one occupies all of the editing box that we have. I think that is useful, especially when you have a lot of people playing your ensemble. It might be useful to have something that is using all of the available space. Probably this is my favorite one. This is a ring visualizer, and see how it has like a Björklund pattern kind of addition here that you can control. This is beautiful because it allows you to explain Björklund patterns graphically with animation, which I believe is amazing because I find it very difficult to actually try to explain to people what is a Björklund pattern or how a Björklund pattern translates into rhythm. No? Notice that this one is also showing us where in the cycle we are with the size of the green circle. Yeah, probably you can tell. You have another one here that does not provide that. For now I will use this, but yeah, I want to explore this future here to represent the Björklund pattern. So let's use the good old-fashioned tresillo of Cuban music. So we have a ring, an Euclidean space of 8 points, and we're going to add 3. So we are going to try to represent this Euclidean pattern right here. No? So in this middle segment, you see above is more subdivisions, below less subdivisions, but in the center, in the middle, you can add a trigger of the Björklund pattern. So I will add 3, and there you go. This should be perfectly coordinated. You should be able to hear a bass drum where the gray dot is. And yeah, this is super useful, I think. Yeah, this is how to visualize tempo in Estuary. I think that this is a very powerful pedagogical tool to understand how cycles work, to understand how tidal works in relationship to cycles, and in general to see how music subdivisions can work in your favor when you're playing. Perhaps you want to change to a 7-3 pattern, and you can see before you actually actualize it as sound, and that is useful. Okay, this is a very pedagogical way of trying to understand time, I believe, and good. It's all good, it's all amazing to work with. I think I will leave this one here, and let's move on to another one that I think it's the one that will allow you to manage ensembles in perhaps in an interesting way. Like the Saturday Jam session in Estuary might benefit from this widget. So let's explore it. You invoke it with timer and a song index. So voila. Oh Jesus, let me just go back. I need to shut this one up. Okay. Now again, timer. By the way, this meter has the two possible spellings. It will accept American and British spelling. In a way, I am more used to this one, so I leave this one always. But yeah, this will work. The other one will work also. So, what do we have here? We have a bar that goes from left to right. Right now it's stopped. As you can see, it has this thing also where you hover and you click in an area, you're going to be able to do things. No? Reset, pause, resume, and change visualizer. Okay, so first let's explore how many visualizers we have. That's the same one, but without the text, without what I am calling labels. That is a sun clock, or how you call it in English? It's an hourglass, I think. Yeah, an hourglass. This is an hourglass with a label. Hourglass without a label. It's a little bit bigger because it doesn't have to liberate some space down here for the label, so that's useful. I will explain what a label is in a moment, okay? Be patient with me. This just represents time in a good old-fashioned countdown. So this, when I play it, will start counting from 5 downwards. This is a label. This is a countdown without label. This is only labels. This is just a circle, and prepare for the next one. This is my developing programming masterpiece. This is a stack visualization, and I don't know if you catch that, but you were able to only see the label A, but as you can see there's a B structure here and a C structure here. This means that we can see a lot of things other than the present in this visualization. This is a musical form, or this attempts to represent a musical form. This might be our introduction, this might be our development, and this might be our conclusion or recapitulation or whatever, however you want to call it. And then we go back to the good old-fashioned progress bar. Now, let's play it. Let's see what happens. And it's done. And there's the B that you saw in the stack visualizer now playing, a little bit slower because it is a different number. And C, here comes C. C, it's a little bit faster, it's just the outro, so who cares. Let's change the visualization. The same without label. The amazing sun clock or hourglass. I love it, I love this one. This is my favorite. Without the label. And the countdown. Only labels. Circle. And this is the stack. As you can see the whole structure. It's super informative, I believe. And once the structure is elapsed, it sort of becomes a different color, which is very useful. And notice how it is looped. Like I have to stop it at any point, no? So this structure, I guess it's cyclical. And there we go again. Okay, I can pause it, can resume it, pause, resume, I can reset it. So yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. Let me cycle back to the stack. And these labels, and as you can see, these are these sections of your improvisation, your performance, have different durations, and they're named differently by default. But we can change that, and that's where the editing mode comes handy. So let's go to edit, and okay, now we have a very different interface, and there's a lot here to explain, and a lot here to absorb as information for you. So the first thing to learn about the editing mode is that you can go back to the display mode with this button right here. Okay, we're in the display mode again. Let's go to editing. As you can see here, on top, to the left, to the right, there's like a peak. Like you can see what is happening in the other side in the display mode. And this is super useful. Now let's hover over some things and see what happens. Oh, nothing. Yeah, because I have icons here and I have like interactive buttons, so the hover mode is not activated in this one. But I think it's sort of self-explanatory in a way. This means that it is looped. When these arrows are green, our form will be looped. If I stop this, everything here will be stopped. There you go. 0, gray, it means it's not looped. And this is all elapsed, and that's it. It just remains there because it had, like the first iteration of this have finished a long time ago. If we want to play it again, like give it again an anchor where to start in time, we just play reset button, and yeah, let's see what happens if we reset it. now in the non-loop mode. So it just gets to be. So as you can see, it's not looped. Let's go back. And see, and we are done. And there it goes. It's finished. Perfect. What does this mean? This is a metronome. This means that we are counting these units. This right here is our unit of duration. This means that A will last 5 units. But which units, you might ask yourself? And the unit right now is beats. So it's using the Estuary's tempo to establish what is the duration of each section. 5 beats. So depending on your tempo, this is going to provide, this is going to affect the duration. Okay, so the duration is the combination of this amount of units plus which kind of unit you're using. In this particular case, we're using beats, but we can also use seconds. The clock means seconds. This means beats. I will use seconds for now. Okay. Now, this is the last part that I will explain. And you know, if you feel like having a jam with a structured, with a structured performance using this thing, just feel free to enter the ensemble time visions, and the password is this one. Okay? If you feel like jamming, just enter. If you don't feel like jamming, that's also fine. Now, this is a part that is a little bit more difficult to explain, but this is this text is the structure, the form that you are giving the performance. As you can see, A was lasting 5 units. In the case that we were exploring, there were 5 beats. B lasted 7 beats, and C lasted 3 beats. But this is very boring, right? I guess like a performance has an introduction, development, and it's a recapitulation. And of course they don't last 5 seconds. Remember that now our unit is seconds. They are more like minutes, no? But just for the sake of the demonstration, I will just keep using very small structures so we can just see them properly. Now, in order for this to be instantiated in the program, we need to press this button, okay? So this is like the evaluation. The shift enter command shortcut will not work in this parser for now. So just press this, and as you can see, the computer now recognizes this as a structure, and now this is our structure right here. Okay, so let's check this one out. Let's reset it and see what happens. There you go. I feel that sometimes this is very useful when you're performing in an ensemble, especially in an ensemble where you are not in the same room with other people. I have used this, in my research to develop this widget. I used it to play with with the band in which I participate. The band is called Piraran. Look for us in YouTube or Discord or wherever. We already used it to create a piece of audio, and I think that I can say with a little bit of experience that it actually helps us to understand where are we in our performance, and I think we are going to keep using this in the future because it is a helpful tool. I believe that the jam sessions of the Saturdays, the Estuary jam sessions, might benefit from these kind of tools. So let's we already played it, we already edited a form, etc. And yeah, there are sort of philosophical consequences to having like a tool that prescribes your performance, of course, no? And I think that I like those philosophical implications. I like to have this tension between the lightness of live coding, you know, to just follow your ear, and the feedback between your editing of code and what you are listening. I think that's perfect. However, I also think that having this tension between a prescribed time and that lightness is also very productive. And it's already there. It's already imposed by the circumstances. You cannot play forever. You always have like a prescribed amount of time to play because there's other people following your act probably. No. So yeah, this is helpful, and this is also helpful to when you get lost in your performance. You can always refer to the basic indication that you are giving yourself in these things. Perhaps these indications are not just very generic things like this. Like introduction is fine, I guess, but perhaps this is my section with triplets, and after this one I have my section with 8 nodes. And then I will have my section with quintuplets. So just remember the basic syntax: label, equals, and duration. And each section should be separated with a comma. Okay? There's no at the end you don't need anything. So let's use this one. And let's just see how it looks like in the stack. Oh, the text is a little bit too big for this one. That's a bug that needs to be fixed. Good to know. But yeah, I don't know. Is this helpful? Will this provide new ways of improvising in jam sessions? Yeah, that's a question I leave out there. Perhaps you know, you can write to me in the chat here in YouTube. If you have any questions or any comments or anything you would like to say, just let me know through the chat in YouTube. Well, I was thinking that right now we could be jamming, we could be producing a jam here, and you know, try to use a form to guide us through the jam. But for that, I see that there was an anonymous participant in the ensemble, and then they left. But if anybody would like to have a you know, a brief jam session with a form, perhaps this is the time to do it. Yeah, thanks for the comments. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's super helpful to have like a sense of direction, especially in live coding, where it is often the case that we get lost a lot. Okay, so since we don't have participants in our jam session, I will just do a demonstration by myself, but not with this form. I will just use, I don't know, something very simple. First program, I want it to last 3 minutes. Second program will be 4 minutes long. Why not? This won't repeat. Oh, it's collapsing already. Okay. I guess I am ready to do my performance with prescribed time. So let me see if I can do something else. No, this is it. And I think I will use for my first program this. So yeah, why not? Let me just choose my language first. And I will mute this microphone, and after I finish this performance, I will declare this workshop done. So let me just mute the microphone. And well, see you around in our good old Estuary that is 8 years old now. Okay, cheers and enjoy the performance.